It's just months away from June 14th, which happens to be the opening ceremony of the FIFA World Cup, the biggest spectacle when it comes to international sports. A lot of people believe it's the Olympic Games anyway. That's subject for another day. Welcome to Moments to Russia. This is a definitive TV show leading you on to what is going to be one of the biggest ever World Cup in the history of the championship since it started in 1930. Udika Agbade is going to be joining us, but I have a special guest, a rare special guest. It's his birthday, Mr. Segun Adenuga.
It's my pleasure.
I mean, big pleasure. I mean, for us that we have somebody like you here. I mean, we know who you are, what you've contributed to Nigerian sports. Happy birthday to you. 76, amazing,
yes.
Really.
Thank you very much, Kayode.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been said that the more you grow, you remember things less, but you're amazing. I don't know how you do it.
I think the more I grow, the more my senses work accordingly. I don't think there's anything special about that.
Wow. Today we are really looking at England and Nigeria.
Okay.
I mean, the friendly game is prestigious. Everybody's counting down. This is more than Argentina. Now, it's a friendly, but it's very important for everybody. And a lot of people do not know that this is not the time we are having an adventure with England. So, when was the first time we really had dealings with England?
In 1949, Nigeria took a 1-month trip to England and played 9 matches against amateur sides in UK. And then those players were drawn from 8 clubs in Nigeria. 3 of those clubs were based in Lagos, Railway, UAC, and Marine. And then the other 5 clubs were drawn from Jos, Kano, Ibadan, Abeokuta, and Parakot. And then they left on August 16 to UK on a 1-month playing tour. And then their first match was against Crosby Marine. They beat Crosby Marine 5-2. Lost their second match, another 5-2 against us. We recorded 5-2 in our first match, and we lost 5-2 in the second match. On that line too, we played 7 more matches. In all, we scored 16 goals and conceded 28. We drew 2, lost 5, and won 2 matches. The team was captained by Richard Etim Enshaw of Marine, and the deputy captain was Daniel Anyam, who later became Nigeria coach in the 60s.
So why did they play barefooted?
That time, it was a pleasure for them in Nigeria to play barefooted. They will bandage their leg from toe.
We're showing some now.
Yes.
Very interesting.
So to them, it was fun that way. The boot was nothing to them. Even when they got to England, they were given boots. They couldn't play with the boots. They had to remove the boots and be kicking the white men. And then it was wonderful seeing them barefooted, playing against those people.
In a filled-up arena.
Yes.
Look at the crowd.
Yes.
I mean, you know, it's very interesting. Very filled-up stadium for any time they play.
Yes, because then we are under the British rule, and then a lot of Nigerians were over there then, and then people just came to see the black Africans playing barefooted, and then
some of them stayed back.
Amazing.
Some of them stayed back.
Only Titus Okere stayed back, and up till now, nobody could say anything about Titus Okere. In fact, of the 18, it is only Titus that is living, I presume, because I know the other 17 are gone. I know that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Final question really now. What is the significance of that trip to what Nigerian football is today?
It paved the way for us to know that people can play professional football, because a year after, Thunder had to go back to London to sign for Peterborough United and later switched to Queen's Park Rangers, playing about 22 matches, scoring 7 goals within a space of 4 years. And then he had to come back at the instance of Chief Jeremiah Obafemi Awolowo.
All right. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
God bless you. God bless your age. Everything you want in life will be yours, even at this age, by God's grace.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kayode.
Introducing the Nigerian football team. And what's the first thing you'll notice? No boots, of course.
Such attitudes were only reinforced in the 1950s with a series of tours by representative Caribbean and African sides.
Introducing the Nigerian football team. And what's the first thing you'll notice? No boots, of course.
Such attitudes were only reinforced in the 1950s with a series of tours by representative Caribbean and African sides.
That, of course, was Mr. Segun Adenuga. He's going to be joining us regularly when we need to really go back in time, because he's one of the biggest experts, like I told you, in the continent of Africa. We're moving on now, and just to let you know that on November 16, 1994, the Super Eagles came back from the World Cup, and they met England at a very prestigious, loud game that everybody wanted to be there. I mean, it was that big. These are the scenes, the behind the scenes, the game, the dances, everything. It was a carnival, really, for Nigeria and England. Of course, we know what happened at the game, but these are the scenes, especially the behind the scenes, that a lot of people did not know. And of course, there's one man called John Fashanu. He was part of arranging this game. And you're going to be seeing some of them come out from the Nigerian bus now till they call it a night in heaven. They were celebrating. It was so absolutely lovely. Enjoy this and come back. Unduka Ogbade just going to be joining us.
Well, they're very confident. You know, they've been waiting for this match as much as the World Cup. You can play all over the world, but until you played on the hallowed turf at Wembley, you haven't played anywhere.
Does it really mean that much to them?
Oh, yes, because as you grow up, everybody knows about Wembley. You know, everybody wants to play against England. And it's very important, especially for a lot of the African nations. London, England, is their second home. So hence the reason why there's so many supporters here. And they obviously want to do well, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of the African boys, the Nigerian boys, who would love to be playing in the Premier League and could be doing so.
You know the team well. How well can they do tonight?
Well, let's put it this way. They could have done better in the World Cup. And if I say that, I don't say that to scare anybody, but really it was sloppy mistakes at the back, which have been very well documented over the last few months. They know that. Hopefully now they've closed up at the back. They know that they've made mistakes there, but they're attacking football. They're an attacking footballing team. They play with a lot of flair, a lot of imagination, and they have now tightened up, which is the most important thing.
One night in heaven, one night in heaven, one night in heaven, one night in heaven. Sometimes I get to thinking while you were far away, just how much I missed you and how time it ticks away. So sad that we are fighting, too much tension, too much hate. Sometimes we need reminding before it gets too late. Just one moment in my day, yeah. Take me up to a place so far away in your heavenly space. One night, ooh, one night in heaven when you kissed her. You light up my life, make me feel.
Has already started. They've come here to win tonight. There's a lot at stake from the point of view of the African champions. From the Hertfordshire Hotel, lapping up the atmosphere this week. 5,000 or so have said they'll make the journey here this evening.
An important arrival at the Nigerian hotel. His Royal Highness Funso Adeolu was invited to meet the team and their guests over a traditional Nigerian lunch. The players here are all united with one aim, to beat England. And back home the same applies. Football, the one thing that brings their countrymen together.
When there is football, especially more so when it involves the national team, Nigeria is one. Everybody wants the Green Eagles to win. So politics, we forget politics at that time. We forget our ethnic differences. We forget our tribal differences. We even forget our economic depression. So everybody is now looking back home in Nigeria to see that the Super Eagles come out really very victorious. So we are very unanimous in looking forward to that.
Well, the next stop was Wembley Stadium, and a first chance for the players to see the famous venue of legends. They've heard so much about it, but never played here before. Football was introduced to Nigeria by England in the colonial days, and the Super Eagles are now keen to show who the new masters are, especially after a highly promising display in the World Cup.
Well, I think you're going to see the African, European and American style of play. That's what we used to, you know. We like entertaining a lot, you know, but we like going out there and making the goals first and then start entertaining, you know, and for sure it's going to be a great, great game for sure.
Welcome back. Nduka Agbade is joining us now. He was a member of that team. And we are showing Nduka now at a restaurant, you know, enjoying his food with all the other players, in training. We are showing so much about the Nigerian national team. What the day was for you. I mean, Halotovs of Wembley.
It was wonderful, Kayode, but the most interesting thing is that maybe for the first time I'm going to be saying this to the public, that the match actually against England was used to compensate me by late Coach Shuaibu for not going to the 1994 FIFA World Cup. So he met me at the stadium and we discussed, and he came to handle me almost about 3 or 4 times in training. At the end of the day, I was placed.
We see your movements now. Swagger.
Yes, in training, because we did a lot of this in Papendal together with every other person, and it was quite wonderful. And if you the England game was pretty wonderful and filled with so many attractions. And
good test for you guys.
Yes, wonderful test for us, and a lot of attractions as well.
Well, so at that time, FIFA ranking, we were in 7, they were in 12, but we still lost.
Yes, because they didn't qualify for the World Cup, but we did. And our losing came as a mistake, kind of. But before then, we had created close to like about 3 or 4 scoring chances. And but one interesting thing that I would want to talk about is seeing the possibility of creating a great player again that we saw in Okocha and the Amulke as well. Quite unbelievable.
Okocha was just enjoying himself. Some said maybe probably too much.
Yeah, at a time.
Where we're showing his dilly-dallying movement and all now. And it's just like...
Unbelievable. Those 2 legs, he's using them as if they're hands, you know. A lot of dexterity. He's unbelievably wonderful.
Unfortunately, David Platt scored a beautiful goal. Did we arrange that well? We're showing it now. There was a cross, something like, just like a Mutiu Adepoju's kind of goal.
Exactly, but you should know one thing about the English team is that for so many years they've been very, very wonderful scoring with crosses and all that and heading the ball into the net. So it was just a little of the lack of marking from our defense that caused the goal, and what's his name? Rufai had no chance at all.
He had no chance. I mean, he was just there on bang on target.
Yes, but on the game proper, we were much more entertaining and better equipped than the English team for that night.
Okay, let's just track up what the match winner is. The match winner, David, what he said. He was not saying much. He didn't want to boast about it, but he was truly very thrilled because that was his 50th international goal. Watch this.
We've, we spent a little bit of time. That's right, Dennis has knocked the ball in. We spent a little time today, this morning, doing some set pieces like this. It's a great ball in. They've left me free there, it's easy enough.
You like those kind of opportunities, don't you?
Well, yeah, obviously. Like I said, they give me a yard there and I managed to get in front.
All right, well done for keeping up that scoring record, David. Thanks very much.
Yeah, we're back and we're going to be going into a lot of other things now. We've told you it's a packed program. You're going to be seeing things you're not going to be seeing anywhere else. We have so much line of joy, enjoyment, not just today, but week in, week out at this time. Sean Bartlett, amazing striker for South Africa. Yes. Scored 2 beautiful goals at the World Cup France 98.
Yes.
And what kind of player is he?
A wonderful player that played in England as well for some years, and unbelievably good when you're talking about his ability to control the ball and as a striker to finish. He plays with his right leg, very strong, a bit of a quick player and a little of a skillful striker. But the most important part of him is the possibilities of him, the ability to convert chances and the capacity to end 90 minutes trying to do something, troubling the defense all the time. So I am not surprised at all that at the World Cup stage he's able to at least keep a mark there that will go into the history books as well.
All right, we're going to show you those goals. Interestingly, he scored his first ever FIFA World Cup goal with his left leg, not the right, interestingly, and a good penalty. This is his. You're going to watch the goals and he's going to tell us his World Cup moments. Bear also in mind that for World Cup moments, we have hundreds of players, and they are not just Nigerians or Africans alone. This is a moment for Sean Bartlett.
Arabia rather square, and they're caught out here by Bartlett, who scores! Aldair looking for the cross. In the end, he's left embarrassed by the pace of the shot.
Always a dream for any footballer to play in a World Cup, and when I got that opportunity to play for South Africa, it definitely was the proudest moment in my football career, and I was very fortunate enough as well to score 2 goals in a World Cup. And I think many players, they try to do that and sometimes succeed and they fail, sometimes they fail, but for me it was good memories, a good opportunity, and I took it with both hands. Well, my first goal, it's funny enough, I scored with my left foot. I'm mostly right-footed, and when I got the opportunity to go down the line, and I went and took a shot at the goalkeeper at the near post. He was expecting a cross, and I was very surprised it went in at first, but when it went in, it was a lot of pressure off my shoulders, because as a striker you need to score goals for your team to make sure you can win games, and that's what I did with the first one. The second one was a penalty. It's pretty much to make the score 2-2 in the 94th minute, and even that was a lot of pressure, because up till that time nobody has ever missed a penalty in a World Cup. So it's something that I thought about the whole time up till that penalty, and when I finally scored it, it also was a good feeling. But at the end of the day, as